Hey, you got a few minutes?
I will as soon as I find.
Okay, come back.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Where's your buddy? Your helper.
White River Toyota is proud to present a film that salutes the Tunbridge World's Fair and the community who has opened its gates to the world for over 140 years. Special thanks to President Alan Howe, the directors and friends of the fair, along with all of the people of Tunbridge who shared their stories and welcomed us into their homes. Thank you, Tunbridge, for protecting and celebrating our history, shaping our culture, and preserving our values. White River Toyota, where it's all about people.
One of my golden memories of Tunbridge is seeing my mother and father dance for the last time in Dreamland. They kept going to Tunbridge till they were too old to go.
It was a really special time for me and my dad.
I took 16 jars of stuff to the fair, and I won first on 15 of them.
After the Twin Towers were attacked and destroyed in New York, we stopped all the rides. There was 10 minutes of silence except for hearing the cows in the background.
Something about the hills here that makes me feel very comfortable. I feel very protected here.
I'm one of these people that get lost. If you put me in Burlington, I wouldn't know how to get out. You put me in a store, I went in a store and I couldn't find my way out. I had to ask him how to get out of the store.
It was pretty nice growing up in Tunbridge. I liked it all right. I don't know how anybody else wanted either, but...
My dad never traveled, not that he couldn't. You know, he was happiest right here.
Our town is a town that works, and I'm really proud of that.
As you walk through it, it looks like an ideal Vermont small village.
I think we've preserved a lot of our old buildings that maybe other towns would have just tossed.
Tunbridge is in a really good place right now because it's this sort of nice balance between Old Vermont and New Vermont.
The fair lasts for 4 days. We live here the other 361, and there are only 1,100 people that live in this town.
I could stand in the middle of the village and yell, and like 5 people would come and say, "What can we do to help you?"
The reason you like Tunbridge is because the people are welcoming.
The whole town's almost like a family.
You don't have to be a highfalutin person.
There are a lot of local folks and really big-hearted outside folks.
Well, no, we started a community jazz band.
A monthly dance at the town hall.
Memorial Day is still a big event in the town.
There's something on the fairgrounds virtually every weekend during the summer.
If you were down here from Burlington with your family and you drove by, you wouldn't see all those little pieces.
Happiness isn't having what you want, but wanting what you have.
We may not be very smart or have very much money, but somehow we can afford to live where most people can only afford to visit. Game.
Because that thing right there is all paid for. That truck's all paid for. So there goes another one of my buddies. Some people stop and leave them, some people don't, you know. Says, you know that boy? There goes Gordy. That's Gordy's son, Luke.
Oh, I haven't met him.
He's a real, he's He's, that goes with Mikey right there. Yeah. Hold on, buddy.
No worries.
What? I don't know this guy comes. There's a lot of them.
Stay here when everybody was moving west to better farmland and all that to say this is home.
I'm fifth generation on the property.
I think I'm in like the 8th or 9th generation.
My brother Mike works for me full-time on the farm, and my brother Andy works part-time on the farm.
Gary, Deb, which is my sister. Then it goes Scott, Pete, me, and Andy.
Gare's barn, Lori's barn, my house.
So that would be a how, and this is a how, and that's a how, and that's a how, and up the road is the farm's a house.
Well, we used to call it Howville, because virtually everybody down there had H-O-W-E as their last name.
The neighbors, Mike and Amy's house, and Mom's house.
Oh, they're everywhere. They're like manure. They're all over the place.
And then Pete's hillbilly cabin over the hill.
How many Barnabys are there in this town?
I ain't gonna tell you. I don't remember.
Why don't you just tell us we're all asshole cousins?
If you want to come be one of us, God bless you, come along. If you want to come and make us into you, not probably going to be quite as warm a welcome.
Everything I've done my whole life has been to try to get back to farming. I think anybody who ever wants to figure out what they want to do in their life, you need to leave home and go and do something that's going to be extremely hard and go see where some of these other people live. And you'll come running right back to a place like this.
There are different stresses everywhere. If you're satisfied in your daily life, if you have a reason in the morning to get up and put your boots on, that's it.
One of my favorite sayings, I guess, or bumper sticker would be to keep it simple. I don't know if I have a hobby. I never had a hobby other than just working. The one thing I've done for quite a few years now is race on the road. The similarities of farming and racing are that you can't predict what's going to happen farming necessarily, and you can't out there. You can have the best car in the world and you'll get wrecked.
There is, you got the beauty queen out the side window.
I hate it when I don't amount to something during the course of the day, and I guess I like that carpe diem, seize the day attitude, so that's what I have for farm name.
I told my wife when I was still in Afghanistan, I don't care if we're going to be broke the rest of our lives, I am going to do what I want to do for the rest of my life. I'm going to do that.
It's philosophy more than anything. You know, you treat the land right and you take it right through to what we produce.
This place is being run the way it was run for the last 100 years. Everything we have, our groceries, everything, our power here is supplied by these cows. And a calf that's born today, in 2 years, she's going to be buying shoes for my son. You know, things are right down to the penny every month, but I wake up every morning doing what I want to do. It doesn't matter if it's 20 below or if it's Christmas morning. Kids and cows come first, you know, and that's, and my wife obviously, but that's how we do it. So,
You know, I've been working on this dairy farm here since I was 10 years old.
My grandfather was 96 when he passed away, and he was driving the tractor up until probably he was 90 or so. We couldn't keep him off the tractor. It's just something that he loved to do.
I milked cows up right up until about 4 or 5 years ago. The boys had pushed me up onto the tractor, and now I can't even drive because I'm dizzy.
You know, growing up in the Depression, just having nothing and just having to bust your butt for everything.
Just 30 years I milked with Dad, running the business, and then after he passed away, I ran it for 25 more.
Right up until the very end, until he was unable to really walk. He'd always come down to the barn and get his milk and stop for a quick visit, say hello.
It's just the way a good Vermonter handled things. You didn't go out and do it for the fun of it or the profit of it, but you did it because you needed to. Things like that.
That's what those old Vermonters were. They were just that hardcore. They had to be to survive.
It's a lifestyle choice that people have, and you don't necessarily have to live in a community like Tunbridge in the state of Vermont. And people do that all over the country. Just very lucky to have one of the most beautiful places in the country.
What do you got this morning?
Well, we just milked one of our dry cows, and then I still gotta feed my bunnies and chickens.
What does going dry mean?
It means that they don't milk for like a period of time. So that way we don't have to milk them. And then once they calve, they start producing milk again.
I'm pretty sure my youngest would take over the farm if he had the chance.
That's been my dream for quite a while.
I wanted to know how stuff works, needs to know how to shut stuff off. It's dangerous, you know, a lot of stuff moving here, a lot to keep track of. Ever get nervous? Keep track of it. Yeah, I do. Yeah. You gotta keep right watching it.
The first words is tractor. Both of them.
I think he's gonna be a good little farmer.
And I have a 4-year-old boy right now who is one of the hardest working kids I've ever seen.
I don't usually get up like early.
Ow! Don't punch me in the teeth, mister. This is where the snakes live.
He absolutely loves this time of year.
Try to steer him in the right direction of having good values and making the right choices.
Taught him, I suppose it's important, all right, yes, but I don't really remember what I told him. You forget them things after a while, you know, you get a little age on you.
You know what I'll do when I'm 80? Look out the window and wish I could run up the hill and go pick the wild strawberries or raspberries like I did when I was a kid.
So in the summer we hay a lot. We play in the woods. We have this fort built out of logs. We bike up to the deer field. In the winter I ride snowmobiles.
They don't need to be in front of the TV 24 hours a day or on a computer or on their little cell phones.
They're not computer nerds. They're out in the woods, chainsaws in hand, working just side by side with me. And it means a lot. Sorry.
I've been to the fair for every year since I was born.
Those 4 days, we spend the whole year getting ready for that.
Shift them in and out, 3 or 4 hour shifts.
Even though I don't amount to much down there, I feel like I miss something if I don't go.
You might like to come to my backyard during the fair. It's pretty awesome out there, particularly at night.
And it's always that element of something different, you know what I mean, that creates that excitement about being at the fair.
This fair is just a part of me. I don't care if I lived in, Switzerland. I'd somehow be here for this one. That's just the way it is.
Probably more than half of the people that are in those stands are from Massachusetts or Connecticut. I don't know why they came to Tunbridge.
For some reason, everybody wants to be here.
But then I look at it with an outsider's eyes, and it's so incredibly beautiful. No offense, Rutland, but with the river, we've got the little white church. We're in a little bowl, and the hills are we're cupped right down here.
I've heard some people say South Royal or Chelsea. Where's that? And then you say, well, ever hear of Tunbridge Fair? Oh yeah, we know where that is.
It's like another holiday.
You ought to be in the pulling rink.
It gets really full. You want to get there really early.
People taking time off from work to just go and be with other people.
It is fun, and I like to raise holy hell.
Some of the things they saw I don't even want to know about.
Now I'm going to tell you a story I didn't want to tell you. But I'm going to tell you anyways. Because this is Tunbridge.
This is a farming community. If you're a farmer, you work really hard, and then when you're off, you party. And you party. If you've got any good attitude at all, you party well.
When I was a kid, we weren't allowed to go like on Saturdays or at night at all because it was a little bit rowdy.
To get in the gate, you either had to have somebody else's wife on your arm or a pint of liquor in your back pocket.
You couldn't go to Tunbridge Fair without a pint in your pocket and your neighbor's wife.
It was a fifth of liquor or another man's wife.
They could have open containers almost midway for a while.
Oh, yeah. My grandmother always called it the drunkard's reunion, and I think that's fairly common.
For a time, it got to be known as the drunkard's reunion.
I don't know, I kind of liked it went a little rough.
You know, I've seen a lot of things down here, you know, people getting beat up. You know, there was times when they would close the beer hall down here and they would rip the doors off the place, break it back in.
There was a rowdiness that really kind of took over the fair as it got darker and darker. And I've seen some good fights.
They had a good time, but they were, you know, they behaved themselves. They might get a little bit drunk once in a while, but...
And as they dragged people out of the fairgrounds for being intoxicated, they just handcuff them to this wheel and make them walk around. And when the cops noticed they were walking pretty good, they let them go.
I don't think you can talk about a history of Tunbridge Fair without talking about the girly show.
The Orange County Sheriff's Department ran one of them. You know, the people you put your trust in, they're taking tickets for the girly show, you know.
My father was so disappointed they got rid of it the year that he turned old enough to go in.
They went, I confess.
Well, I'm sure those things went on, but I wasn't there.
I always vowed that I was going to dress up as an old man and go in and see what went on.
A lot of the women liked them because they said it got the old man fired up.
You'll just never know what you'll see. People come crawling out of the woodwork for this fair. Look at me, you're talking to me.
If you look at the history book, you see this place was just going wreck and run, and it was getting really seedy, and we're still trying to get over the reputation. The old timers still laugh and talk about the nasty old days.
I'm convinced we would have lost the fair if we had not changed.
Why is it that we came to the fair, and why did our parents bring us to the fair? Why did our grandparents bring our parents to the fair? And not for the girly shows.
Vermont has been able to maintain its rural identity. This fair really complements that.
I thought they had...
If we have a death during the fair, there aren't any funerals in the town of Tunbridge.
As far as my life, the fair is what we looked forward to. That was the thing. We worked all year to go to the fair. We worked our dairy heifers and led them around the barnyard every night so we could go to Tunbridge Fair.
You gotta love that animal in order to bring out the best in the animal to show it.
Show off the fruits of your labors. And for a dairyman, that's not the end of one season. That's something you've been working on for a long time.
One of the best fairs we do, hands down.
I've been at the fair here for about 25 years.
We have a very loyal following.
It's one of the top fairs for us.
That's why we like to do something friendly back for them.
Well, when you love something so much, you really...
It's in his blood.
Yeah.
It's in all of our blood.
Any other 9-year-olds that you know pulling tractors?
Right.
It might take me 2 hours to go through the floral hall.
I think kids that come and watch the shows when they're younger, like, get inspired to do this.
I couldn't sleep last night because I was so excited for it.
You have to behave in school today and try your best, and I'm going to check with the teacher when I pick you up, or you're not coming to the fair tonight to hang out.
None of them are making any money doing it.
But they love those ribbons that say Tunbridge World's Fair.
Then they come back to get their 50 cents on Sunday, you know.
This is the biggest Tamworth pig show there is in the United States, right here at Tunbridge. It's kind of classy for a pig show.
You better figure this one out real quick.
He was really shy in the beginning. I had to read a book to him to get him calmed down.
Haley Howe, Grace Collins, Geneva Audette, Sabrina.
Just hope it doesn't rain.
Everything is going, if the rains will...
It's not going to rain. If it was going to rain by now, it would have.
I do like Antique Hill. I don't know of another place that has it like this.
It's where the town came from, and it's nice to see that it's continuing.
With the number of parents that bring their kids, yeah.
We need to keep history alive.
It's not about the material things, it's about the crock pot dinners around the stalls, getting together and making memories with your family.
You want to be in there early, and you stay late, and that place is full, packed, from daylight till dark.
My brother, my sister, and I, we each got a different night to spend in the barn at the fair with my dad.
How'd it go last night?
Good.
In trouble?
A little bit of trouble. Yeah.
Keep that clap going.
Hardly any sleep last night until this morning.
I'd sit there and I'd cry because Tunbridge Fair was over for another year, and that was so sad.
I think this fair is just, of course I'm prejudiced, it's just great.
Since we were born, practically, we've had a share of the fair.
I wouldn't want to take the fair away from Tunbridge. It's something that's very important to Tunbridge.
The lifeblood of Tunbridge, really.
And has been since it started in 1867.
There are world's fairs all over the world, but the best world's fair is right here in Tunbridge.
What town the size of Tunbridge could get away with calling its fair the World's Fair?
That's what we lived for when we were kids, was the fair.
Oh, we just like talk about it so much. Like, we're gonna go on the bumper cars.
You get to skip school on Fridays for that.
To see somebody that you might not have expected to see.
Well, I hate seeing y'all, but I don't know who's going to pay me at it.
It does tie up town. It's the biggest pain in the butt there is for those 4 days.
How can you not enjoy the fair?
That being said, I think we're all pretty glad when it's over, too, though.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's tired afterwards.
Sunday night, I always say, I'm ready to get done.
Well, they wouldn't. You might as well say Tunbridge is dead.
That's the way it is here. Now it is. The town's dead. Till next year. About May, people will start coming in here and stuff.
It is the Vermont I grew up in, as much as is left, and it is a place I dearly love. Go up that hill by the Howe farm, and you come over the crest of that hill and around that corner, and there it is. if I am fortunate enough to go to heaven, I dearly hope that when I step in there, it's going to be like coming around that corner and seeing Tunbridge Fair.
Actually, I'm more apt to convince them that this is the biggest shithole on the planet. It's just so that they don't come here and take up more space. Isn't that an awful thing?
G to me, boys. Ma, back up. G to me, boys. G. Park stop.
If you will put it long, round, and hard, and full of semen. I wouldn't want to guess. A submarine.